Welcome to my official picks and predictions for week 11 of the 2024 college football season. In this video, I will go through every single top 25 matchup this weekend and I will predict these scores as well as the spreads and the over-unders. But before we do that, let's start off with recapping my results from last week. Overall, it was an okay week. I went 10-5. I missed a couple of games because we had some upsets last week. I went 7-8 against the spread, so I could have done better there because I ended up below 500. And I also went 5-10 with predicting the over-unders. So overall, it was a pretty average week. I didn't do great, but I didn't do terrible. But regardless of how we do, I love predicting games, so let's get into predicting these week 11 games. And the first game is number 3 Ohio State versus Purdue this Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Ohio State does have this game at home, and I do think they will win this game big. Purdue has just not been good at all this year. And Purdue could legitimately be the worst Power 4 team. I believe their only win is over an FCS school. I don't think Ohio State will run up the score. I think they'll win it 38-7, and I think Purdue will cover that high spread of 38. And I am taking the under in this game. I expect Ohio State to easily win this game. This game is very interesting. We have Georgia Tech versus number 4 Miami this Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I think this is going to be a big test for Miami. It's on the road against Georgia Tech, the team that really ruined your season last year. And I think Georgia Tech has the team to possibly compete with Miami. They are not a bad football team. And the only way I see Miami losing this game is if the coach and staff just sells. But I really do think Miami has a top 3 offense in the country. And I could go as far as saying they might have the best offense in the country. I think Georgia Tech will test them in this game. They are coming off a bye week, but I expect Miami to keep rolling. Miami has too much offensive firepower and the best quarterback in college football, so give me Miami 38-31 in this game. I do think it will be close, and I'm taking Georgia Tech to cover, and I definitely have the over for this game. The next game is number 5 Texas versus Florida this Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. If Florida's quarterback didn't get injured, they could have a shot in this game and a shot to win a couple more games on that schedule. But they are rolling with their third string quarterback right now, and I don't think Florida is going to be able to win that many games left on that schedule. Texas is one of the best teams in the country, and I do think Texas will be able to win this game. I think Florida's defense can do enough to cover and keep it close. Florida has been getting better this season, but without their quarterback, it's going to be hard to get a win like this. Texas has a really good defense, and I do think Quinn Ewers will get back to playing his best football soon. And I think Texas will win this game 27-17. But I am taking Florida to cover. I don't trust Texas to cover that very high spread. And I have the under for this game. The next game is number 16 Ole Miss versus number 2 Georgia this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I think if Ole Miss wins this game, that will completely shake up the college football playoff race. Do not count out Ole Miss. I know Ole Miss has that bad loss to Kentucky and they have 2 losses, but they are an SEC team. And if Ole Miss wins out and has a top 5 win over Georgia, they might be in the conversation to make the college football playoff. And we saw something from that offense last weekend. Jackson Dart threw for over 500 yards and they put up 63 points. And that Ole Miss defensive front 7 has obviously been better this year, so maybe they can compete with Georgia in this game. They have to treat this game like it's their Super Bowl, and they have it at home, so maybe Ole Miss has a shot in this game. I think people are sleeping on Ole Miss. A lot of people have counted them out because of the couple of bad losses they had. But I think Ole Miss has the potential to turn it up late in the season, and this would be a massive win for them. I am going to go with my gut. I think Georgia is the better all-around team, and I think they have one of the top defenses in the country. So give me Georgia in this game, 27-19. I think they will cover, and I have the under. The next game is number 8 Indiana versus Michigan this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. There's nothing that tells me Indiana is not going to win another game by double digits. They have been dominating teams lately and getting better and better every week. They beat Washington by 2 scores with a backup quarterback, and then they got Curtis Work back at quarterback, and they dominated Michigan State, scoring 47 unanswered. Michigan has been finding something late in the season with quarterback Davis Warren. The offense has been playing a bit better, and I do think this could be Indiana's biggest test of the season yet. But I think we need to start taking Indiana seriously. They aren't usually a good football program, but a lot can change in 1 year. And Curt Cignetti has absolutely changed this Indiana team this year. So give me Indiana in this game, 34-20. I think they just cover, and I have the over for this game. The next game is Kansas versus number 17 Iowa State this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I still think Iowa State is a very good football team. They've been tested this year, but they've continued to win games. They did lose to Texas Tech last weekend, but I don't think Texas Tech is a bad football team. And I think Iowa State is going to get a bounce back win against a tough Kansas team on the road. Iowa State has a legitimate shot to make the Big 12 championship and make the college football playoff. I think Iowa State has one of the better defenses in the country. They held that Texas Tech offense to only 23 points. Unfortunately, Iowa State's offense couldn't do enough in that game, but Iowa State is a good football team. And I don't see Iowa State losing back-to-back games. I think they bounce back, but I do think this game will be close. Kansas is a very good football team as well. I know Kansas's record does not say that, but they have lost multiple one-possession games this year. Maybe Kansas will not make a bowl game, but any team that plays Kansas is not going to have an easy win. So I do think Iowa State will get a tough win on the road, 27-24. I'm taking them to just cover, and I have the over. The next game is North Texas versus number 18 Army. This game will be played this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Army's toughest test yet on the season, and they have it on the road against a North Texas team with a lot of offensive upside. I wouldn't be surprised if Army made a statement in this game and won another game by a lot. But personally, I like North Texas to get this win at home. Army gave up 28 points to East Carolina a couple of weeks ago, and I think North Texas has the offense to possibly beat Army in a shootout. I think Army is a good group of 5 team, but I do think they will lose a game on that schedule, maybe 2 games. And I don't think Army is the best group of 5 team. I think they lose this game at North Texas. Give me North Texas in the upset 31-28. I'm taking them to cover and outright win the game, and I have the under. The next game is Virginia Tech versus number 19 Clemson this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Both these teams are coming off very bad losses, in fact. Virginia Tech gave up a multiple touchdown lead to Syracuse last weekend. They were really controlling that game, so I don't know what happened. They ended up losing it. And Clemson, they just got absolutely destroyed by Louisville. I don't know what to say. Louisville just controlled every aspect of the game against Clemson, and it was on the road. This is the game I have had circled on Clemson's schedule this year on the road against a solid Virginia Tech squad. And when Virginia Tech is playing their best football, they are hard to beat, and Virginia Tech has this game at home. They are going to be looking for a bounce back, so is Clemson. But I really think that loss Clemson had to Louisville is going to derail this team. So I am calling the outright upset in this game. Virginia Tech has very good home field advantage, and I think they make a statement in this game, winning it 33-24. I think Virginia Tech will cover and outright win the game, and I have the over, so I think Clemson will lose back-to-back games. The next game is Texas Tech versus number 21 Colorado this Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Believe it or not, Texas Tech is slightly alive in the Big 12 title race now that Iowa State and Kansas State both lost, and Texas Tech only has 2 losses in conference play. So if they manage to beat Colorado, that would be a big win and set them back on the right track. I guess we could say that win against Iowa State set them back on the right track. But personally, I think this Colorado team is trending in the right direction, and I think they could end up in the Big 12 championship game. They only have 1 loss, and they are going to be favorited in every game left on that schedule for Colorado. And I think 10-2 in a Big 12 championship appearance is very likely. But I think this might be the toughest game left for Colorado on the road against a good Texas Tech squad. But I really think this is a good football team. Colorado has had a much better defense. They've ran for 100 yards in 3 of their last 4 games. And they have one of the best receiving corps in the country and one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And they have Travis Hunter. That's really all I have to say, so give me Colorado to continue the winning streak. I think they beat Texas Tech 38-27. I'm taking Colorado to cover, and I have the over. This game is going to be a very exciting game. We have number 24 Vanderbilt versus South Carolina this Saturday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time. South Carolina is easily a top 25 team in my opinion. They had that bad loss to Ole Miss, so the committee will not rank them. But they also played LSU and Alabama both close. Now last weekend they just dominated Texas A&M. This is a very good South Carolina team, but this will be a tricky road game against a Vanderbilt team that has been finding something this season. And Vanderbilt is a tough place to play. Nobody would have thought Vanderbilt would have good home field advantage, but that's kind of how it's been this season. Personally, I just trust South Carolina more. I think they are more legit than Vanderbilt. So give me South Carolina in this game 27-20. I think their defense is legit and has the advantage over Vanderbilt. I'm taking South Carolina to win and cover, and I have the over. The next game is number 1 Oregon versus Maryland this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Maryland has just been a very bad team this year. They give up 40 points to Minnesota. Their defense has been one of the worst in the Big Ten. And they are playing Oregon, who has one of the top offenses in the country, and this game is going to be a complete mismatch on the road for Maryland. Nothing much to say about this game. I think Oregon will win and cover again. Give me Oregon in this game, 45-13. I think they cover, and I have the over. The next game is number 7, Tennessee versus Mississippi State at 7 p.m. Eastern Time this Saturday. Tennessee is still trying to find that rhythm offensively. They get a little bit better every week, but I still don't think it's good enough. I still think this Tennessee team has massive potential if they can reach their full ceiling on offense. That means they need to open up the passing game, and Nico Iamaleava needs to step up and play his best football near the end of this season. Last weekend they had a decent second half against Kentucky, but you would still like to see more from Tennessee. They only beat Kentucky by 10 points, and Kentucky has just not been good this year. And Mississippi State might just be as bad as Kentucky is. And I can definitely trust Tennessee to win this game. Give me Tennessee 31-17. But I just don't think Tennessee has the offense to cover that spread right now, so I'm taking Mississippi State plus 23.5. And I do have the under for this game. The next game is number 10 Notre Dame versus Florida State this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. In the preseason, everybody was hyping up this game. This could have been a playoff contention game. But Florida State ended up being one of the worst teams in college football this year. They're 1-8 right now. I don't know what happened to Florida State, but they do not stand a chance in this game on the road against Notre Dame, who has been playing their best football lately. Riley Leonard has become a great leader for this team, and I think Notre Dame can win this game 31-13. I am taking Florida State to cover just because of how good the defense is. They've only gave up 30-plus points once this year, and that was against Miami. And I don't think Notre Dame has the offense to cover that spread. So once again, give me Notre Dame 31-13. I'm taking Florida State to cover, and I have the over. The next game is number 14 LSU versus number 11 Alabama this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I think it's fair to say the winner of this game probably has a 50% chance to make the college football playoff. The winner of this game will likely win out, but they will need a little bit of help from other teams. So this game is definitely crucial for the college football playoff race. But personally, I have to trust Alabama more. Their defense continues to get better, and they dominated Missouri 2 weeks ago. Alabama is also coming off a bye week, and I trust their coach and staff more. LSU always finds ways to lose these big games, and I just don't think LSU is a better all-around team than Alabama is. And I think Alabama has this game circled, knowing that they lost to Tennessee on the road a few weeks back. They've been road tested this year, and I think they bounce back and beat LSU on the road 34-27. Give me Alabama to cover the spread, and I have the over. The next game is number 6 Penn State versus Washington this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Washington has showed a lot of great things this year. They are playing like a football team, and the coaching staff is really working hard. So I will give it to this Washington team. I think they have a bright future, but the road travel is going to catch up to Washington in this game. This will be a very tough road game. And I think Penn State is going to make a statement coming off of that bad loss to Ohio State. Penn State's defense will be too much for Washington, and I think Penn State can win this game 31-17 and just cover, and I have the over. The next game is number 12 Boise State versus Nevada this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Boise State continues to go up in the rankings, and their only loss is to the number 1 team in the country by a field goal. Nevada has showed some good things this year, but they are in rebuild mode with year 1 head coach. And Boise State will continue to roll. I think Ashton Jeanty has another big game. I like Boise State to win this game, and they have it at home, so give me Boise State 37-20. I do think Nevada will cover. They're an okay group of 5 team, and I have the under. The next game is number 23 Pitt versus Virginia this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I made a pretty bad prediction picking Pitt to beat SMU. 2 weeks ago, I would have picked SMU. SMU has looked like the better football team this year, but I overreacted to that win Pitt had over Syracuse. Pitt has obviously been an inconsistent team this year, and I think this will be a tough game for them against Virginia. Virginia has showed some good things offensively, and I think this will be another close win for Pitt on the season. I think Pitt wins it 30-27, but I'm taking Virginia +7, and I have the under. What about this game? We have Utah versus number 9 BYU this Saturday at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time. If we were looking at this game during the offseason, we probably would have expected Utah to be a top 10 team and for BYU to be unranked, but the roles have been reversed, and that's pretty interesting. Anything is possible in college football. And I think BYU is playing their best football right now and the favorite to win the Big 12. They have really been dominating teams lately. They've been forcing a lot of turnovers, and Utah has a freshman quarterback who could definitely turn the ball over. Even on the road, I think I'm starting to trust this BYU team as a legit contender. I'm starting to give BYU more credit because I really have to. They've been dominant this year, or at least the last couple of weeks. So give me BYU in this game 38-15. I will definitely take them to cover the spread. I don't think Utah has the offense to keep up in this game, and I have the over in this game. And lastly, we have number 20 Washington versus Utah State this Saturday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Washington could be a sneaky college football playoff contender. They would have to win out and they would need help from other teams losing. But if Washington can sneak their way into the top 12, they have a shot. Obviously, they won't be playing for a conference championship, so they have to get an at-large bid. But it's not impossible. So maybe people should keep an eye on this Washington State team. And I think the lack of competition on Washington State's schedule leads them to another blowout win. Give me Washington State 38-21 by 3 scores in this game. I guess I'll take Utah State to cover. They have some offensive upside, and I have the under. But anyways, that is going to do it for my Week 11 picks and predictions. You guys let me know some of your predictions down in the comments below. But let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you will love this channel, because we upload a ton of college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel. So definitely consider subscribing and also consider checking out my socials down in the description below. But that is going to do it, guys, and peace out.